Hey, thanks for watching. So this little set is going to be on the Tala chakras, which we know are those 7 lower chakras in our legs. They're emotions and experiences of a lower nature. They're more of our basic instincts, those primal instincts. So the last time we talked about the hips, which are fear and lust. So today I wanted to talk about the thighs. So the thighs have control over anger and resentment. Now, those are two really, really big emotions. So let's talk a little bit more about those. Resentment is bitterness or a feeling of displeasure. Often this emotion comes with animosity. This can be caused because you maybe felt like you were treated unfairly or unwillingness to forgive. So when we think of resentment, we think of bitterness and harboring grudges, prolonging your upsets, and to keep growing bad feelings towards others. Resentment is an invitation to bitterness, and bitterness is cancer to the soul. Choose forgiveness and let it set you free. You actually have a choice to hang on to resentments or let it go. And then you might say, well, how can I ever forgive them? Well, if you don't, you're not hurting that other person. You're only hurting yourself. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but there are different steps you can take to help let go of resentment. One thing that I personally did was I got down on my hands and knees and I prayed to God for 2 weeks. There's a special prayer you can pray. And even if you don't believe it in the beginning, after the 2 weeks you will. And you will be able to release and let go of any of that anger or resentment. And anger and resentment are slightly different. Anger is immediate action when you start with aggressive behavior, where resentment is it stays internally. Now, I pulled out the big guns. If anybody has been in AA, they know how powerful this book is. And this book helped me clear my resentments in the past. I got sober in 2013. So I wanted to pull out the book because it's been many years. But when we get sober in AA, we have to look at all of our resentments in our lives. Like, we make a list, we go back from day one, any resentment that we have, and we have to psychologically look at that and identify why. Why did we build that resentment? Because 50-50, it's 50-50. So we play a part in that. So let's say somebody treated you unfairly, you let them be in your life. So that's where you need to work on boundaries. But most of the resentments are affected. Self-esteem is the number one. Self-esteem and fear. Those are the number one reasons we get resentments built up. The other thing is just personal relations, sex relations, security, and pride. So now that I finished discussing resentments and I just touched the surface of those, let's go into anger. We know that anger, I believe it's like 150 on the scale of frequency, so it's one of those lower emotional experiences that we don't want to be stuck in. However, anger can be the catalyst for change. You can get so mad and angry that you go get that new job or you go get a better relationship or whatever it is. It can be a good catalyst for change. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of the anger iceberg. I had to learn about this when I was an early childhood educator because anger is what we see at the top. It's the iceberg floating above the water. But underneath the iceberg, there are other feelings that are causing that anger. So it's important to understand, where's your anger coming from and why are you angry? That way you can deal with it and fix that. Because that's not an emotion we want to be radiating in for any long period of time. So if we just take a look here at the anger iceberg and we look at all of these emotions underneath, you may be nervous, feel rejected, embarrassed, disappointed. But what's the underlying feeling of your anger? Anger is definitely a choice. And when you allow other people to create your anger, they steal your energy. So you're literally giving them your energy. Like I said, just remember, you do have a choice. Buddha, one of my favorite quotes, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing at someone else. you actually are the one that's going to get burned by hanging on to that anger. You are not hurting the other person. You are hurting and impacting your physical, your spiritual, your mental energy. And I'm going to apologize because I know this video is so long, but I knew it was going to be. These are two really deep, complex emotions. We can even take a look at this from a scientific standpoint. If you start looking and deep diving, you are going to see massive amounts of information on anger and how it actually affects your body. And I mean, this can be broken down, activates the amygdala before you're even aware of it. The amygdala activates the hypothalamus signals the pituitary. I mean, come on, guys. This is scientific fact here. What happens when we are feeling anger? Elevated cortisol kills neurons. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. This video has been quite a long one, and thanks if you stayed with me this whole time. But I wanted to do this deep dive on those Tala chakras. Just take a quick look at those. They run in the legs. We talked about the hips. Today I'm talking about the thighs. People in this consciousness or energy center are always wrathful. They're mad at the world, even angry at God. I'm sure everybody has one of these people in their lives that maybe has not been able to control their anger. Keep this in mind as you go about your daily life, and I hope this information was helpful. Everybody have a great day. Sending peace, love, and light out to the world. Mwah.